I want to ask Suraj, can you please tell me who releases this report?
So it's World Economic Forum.
Okay. Is there anything important about this news? Sorry, this report?
So this basically about assess the country situation, risk upon certain parameters.
Okay, so it is not that much important. You just need to remember the name that Global Risk Report is released by World Economic Forum. And for further reading, I have already written things, so I'll give you notes so you can read this. So from my side, there is nothing important in it. However, if anyone has anything to add, they can do. Yeah, there is one more important thing, and which is about Global Risk Network, and it was established in 2004. And what it does, it actually tracks the evolution of a set of risk in 5 areas and over a 10-year time frame. And those 5 areas are economics, geopolitics, environment, society, and technology. So that's all about Global Risk Report. From my side, this much is important. So if anyone has anything to add, you are free to add now.
Sir, good
Yes,
evening, sir.
Asutosh. Good evening.
Sir, in Global Risk Report 2021, which is released by WEF, sir, the main issue of the report was that economic fragility and the infectious disease, which should be followed by climate action failures. So this was the main important heading of the report, that infectious disease followed by climate action failure. So it is being headed as biggest global risk for the coming decade. It was this was the mentioning in Global Risk Report 2021. And one thing more, that one World Economic Forum also releases the details about energy transaction index. So there is, sir, one another report around risk report. So we can be confused by that there is another world risk index. So there are two different reports. One is Global Risk Report 2021, and another one is World Risk Index, which is released by another institute. So there are two separate terms. So that's why I mentioned that, sir.
Okay, thank you, Asutosh. Yeah, so one thing
Hello.
I want to draw your attention that Google this term economic fragility. Yes,
Hello.
yes, Anuj.
Sir, there is one another report having the same name like Global Climate Risk Report that has been released by German Watch. So we often being confused like who released Global Risk Report and who released Global Climate Risk Report. So it's Global Risk Report is released by World Economic Forum and Global Climate Risk Report is released by German Watch. That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you, Anuj. Now we'll move towards next uh, topic, and the next topic is North Sea. So basically, it is the northeastern arm of Atlantic Ocean, and second important thing about is that just a second. Yeah, yeah. So second most important thing about it that it is connected by Atlantic Ocean by the Strait of Dover and English Channel. So remember this thing that Strait of Dover and English Channel connects it with Atlantic Ocean. So now I have a question, and that question will be answered by Devojyoti Ghosh. Devojyoti, can you please tell me that what is the name of that channel which connects which connect Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Ocean, which we have already discussed. Therefore, I am asking it. Tell me the name of that strait which connect. Can you hear me, Devojyoti? Okay, Jagannatha, can you hear me?
Strait of Gibraltar.
Dattatreya, I did not ask you. So if I'm asking question from someone, then it's my humble request that do not answer it until and unless I ask you to answer.
Okay, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, it's completely fine. So it is Strait of Gibraltar, which connects Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. Now I have another question that uh, which are the two countries which are separated by Strait of Gibraltar? And it will be answered by Bhavna Seni.
Sorry, sir, I didn't know about that.
Okay. Diptansu,
Yes, sir. It separates Spain and Morocco.
Spain and Morocco. This is Strait of Gibraltar and it is Spain, it is Morocco. Okay. Yeah, so now directly we'll switch to map because that is important for us. So let's go through the map and can you see mm, this is North Sea and these are the countries. So Animes, can you please name those name three countries which border with North Sea?
Yes, sir. Sir, Norway, Belgium, Denmark,
Only three. I'm asking Norway,
Belgium, Denmark.
Belgium, Denmark. Okay. Now s- Dolly Pathak. You have to tell me about other countries which border with North Sea.
North Sea, Sweden.
You're saying Sweden,
England and Scotland. Yeah.
England and Scotland, you are
Scotland.
saying. Ayushi Jonwal, do you agree with her?
So, the Great Britain is there. I mean, England is there, but I don't think Scotland is included.
So it's Great Britain.
Great
Okay.
Britain is there. May I tell the other ones?
Yes, go ahead.
So, Germany is there. France is there. Yeah, and the other ones I think they told Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, Belgium. There are in total 7 countries.
Sir,
What is it?
Amsterdam and
It's
Brussels.
one.
Amster
Edinburgh.
Amsterdam is not a country, first thing. Amsterdam is a city in Netherlands.
So,
Okay,
Netherlands is
sir.
left,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I am
Sir, I have a
asking
doubt.
country.
So, Netherlands
Sir.
is left.
You're saying Netherlands also, right?
And sir,
Yes.
Brussels.
No.
Brussels is the capital of Belgium.
Oh, yes, Belgium. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Now, Ashutosh, go ahead with your doubt.
Sir, Scotland is a separate country or a part of United Kingdom?
Actually, we consider it as a separate country. However, it is part of United Kingdom. Recently, there was a referendum which failed. So it's a part of UK.
Okay, sir. So we can separately mention Scotland in Northern Sea and
No, we don't need to mention it. It's when we are talking about the Great Britain, okay, then it is there.
okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. So these are the seven countries: Norway, Belgium, Denmark, Great Britain, Germany, France, Netherlands. Okay. So now if anyone has anything to add, yeah, see this location, these two locations. Okay. So I want to ask one question that these are some strait, and they connect it with some other sea. So I want to ask the name of that sea. Which sea is there, that side?
The
Oman.
Baltic Sea.
Sir, Black
Yes.
Sea.
Baltic Sea, sir.
No, it's Baltic
Baltic.
Sea.
Baltic Sea.
It's not.
Okay. So just see the location of English Channel. This is English Channel, and this is Norwegian Sea. This is North Atlantic Sea, and this is Celtic Sea. So please focus on all these geographical location, and
Sir, there is Strait of Dover also.
from here somewhere, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is Strait of Dover also. Now, anyone has any question, or
So
if you want to add anything,
Shortcut.
you are free.
Sir,
I'd like to add something.
Yes, yes,
So
Ayushi, go ahead.
there is this mega project that is also called the North European Enclosure Dam, also NEED, famously called NEED. So it consists of two dams that are being built right there. The first one is being built across the North Sea, like between UK and France. England and France. So one is here, and the second one is between Scotland and Norway. And these two dams are actually being built because due to global warming, all these glaciers are receding into these oceans, and the water level is rising, which makes them very much prone to drowning or like sinking of their coastal areas of these countries. So these two dams are very ambitious projects that are proposed and being built there. That's it.
Ayushi, has the project started?
I don't think so, but the second one, I mean the larger one across the Norway and Scotland, I don't know about that, but UK and
Actually, it
France
is only
wala uska,
proposed right now.
yeah, UK and France wala is UK and France wala ke like planning has started. The second one, I don't know about the second one, Scotland and Norway.
That will be a big dam, so that requires a lot of planning. And the second one, I think they are planning for it.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Prerna, go ahead.
Sir, North Sea is one of the largest fishing grounds in the world, and also the famous crude, that is the Brent crude, also comes from North Sea.
Okay. Do you have any idea about oceanic current also? Anyone?
North Atlantic Drift passes through it.
Okay, so what kind of current is this? It's a
Warm ocean current.
okay. Now we'll talk about Baltic Sea, and
Hello, sir.
yes, anyways,
Sir, shortcut.
yes, हाँ shortcut important है.
No beg friends.
No,
Beg, B-E-G, beg. Friends, F-R-E-N-D-S. I don't write I. F-R-E-N-D-S.
okay. So
So, no
N
is
stand
Norway.
for Norway,
No is Norway.
BE
B-E is
for
Belgium.
Belgium,
G
G
for
for
Germany.
Germany, F for France.
F-R for France.
Okay,
Then E for England.
E for England,
N
N
for
for
Netherlands.
Netherlands, D for Denmark,
S
and
for
S for
Scotland.
Scotland.
So E and S you can combine for UK.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes, Anuj.
sir, recently to mitigate climate action and the world energy needs, Denmark made first energy artificial island. So he uses that North Atlantic currents in order to produce the energy.
First artificial energy
Island.
Yes, sir. This was very much in news.
Yeah.
डेनमार्क.
Denmark, sir.
ठीक है, ये चीज याद रख लेना, हो सकता है यूपीएससी पूछ ले.
So can you please repeat what's that part?
Anuj, repeat it once
Denmark.
again.
Yes, sir. Denmark made the first energy artificial island over the North Sea, and it is very much in the news. So that's why I'm explaining here.
Okay, thanks, bro.
Okay.
It is actually a
Sir,
wind farm.
It is first energy artificial island, and it is made by Denmark, right?
yes, sir.
Yes, Animesh, you were saying something.
Sir, basically it is a wind park. Wind energy will be used for making energy.
Okay, now we'll discuss Baltic Sea. And in Baltic Sea, it's a arm of North Atlantic Ocean. One thing, remember this thing, okay? And second thing, it is the largest expanse of brackish water in the world. This is very important thing. So remember this thing, and it is connected by artificial waterways to the White Sea. And what else is there? So these were some important things about it. Now we'll see the countries. So there are many countries which actually touch the border of actually which border with Baltic Sea. So I want to ask the name, and one by one you have to tell me name. So first two name will be told by Avinash.
Sir, can I repeat the question, please?
I want to please tell me the name of those two countries which border with Baltic Sea. You have to tell the name of only two countries.
Okay, sir. Um, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. Hello.
Yes. Now, Gunib, can you tell me the name of other two countries, other three countries?
Sir, Russia, Sweden, Poland.
Monica, any other country?
Sir, Denmark, Finland,
Okay. Any other?
Sir,
No, sir.
Northeast Germany on Central European plain.
No,
Yes, sir.
Germany. No.
Germany also.
Okay. Any other country? Any other country? Okay, so these are the 9 countries which border with
No, sir.
Baltic Sea. And I want to ask one question, that apart from bordering Baltic Sea, there are other sea also with which Russia has a border. So can you please tell me the name of those? Just tell me name of those two sea. Recently, we have read them.
Sir, Black Sea,
Sir,
Black and
Black
Caspian.
Sea.
Caspian Sea.
Yes.
Caspian and Black Sea.
Same.
Black Sea and Caspian Sea. So there are countries which are common to Baltic Sea as well as North Sea. So I want to ask the name of those countries also. Anyone?
So first
The
can you?
Denmark and Germany.
Denmark and Germany.
Yes.
Yes, Denmark
Denmark
too.
and Germany. So these are the two countries which share border with Baltic Sea and North Sea. So now if anyone has to add anything in it, you're free to add.
So one thing I would like to add in a geopolitical term that Baltic nation which we use for our foreign relation is basically not is the group of all the countries. It is basically a term used for the Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania as according to our foreign ministry. So whenever we refer Baltic nation, it is only a group of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. So basically, why we club these three countries because due to they are classified as high income economy by World Bank, and also all three uh, all three countries are member of European Union, NATO, and OECD. So for our foreign relation, we can use the Baltic nation term. That's it, sir.
Okay, Asto. So now I'll be asking a few more questions, and which you have to answer. So I'll give you some countries which you have to arrange from north to south and east to west. So just a second. These are four countries: Denmark, Poland, Estonia, and Lithuania. So Prerna Kumari, you have to arrange these countries from west to east.
Sir, please repeat name of the countries.
Denmark, Poland, Estonia, and Lithuania.
From west to east.
Yes.
Denmark will be the first one, then Poland, Lithuania, and Estonia.
Okay. And if we have to arrange these countries from north to south,
North.
okay, Satish, please arrange these countries from north to south.
Estonia, Estonia, Denmark, Lithuania, and Poland.
Denmark, third one.
Lithuania.
Which one is third?
Lithuania, yeah. L.
Yeah.
And Poland.
Okay. Okay, and okay, that's it. So anyone has to add anything in it? Baltic Sea, we are done with Baltic Sea, and just see the location that Gulf of Finland. This is Gulf of Finland, and this is Gulf of Bothnia. So it borders with Sweden and Finland, Gulf of Bothnia, and this is Gulf of Finland. This is part of world geography, and we are doing all these things. So pay your attention for all these terms also. Okay, now we'll talk about some other topic, and that is it visible or
Sir,
not?
sir,
Yes.
I have also told about the Baltic nations. So there is one conclave related to that, that India Nordic Baltic conclave. So it basically Indian foreign relation related that for regional corporation, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, anyways.
Sir, shortcut.
हाँ शॉर्टकट इम्पोर्टेंट है.
Rude Germany. Cell.
Root Germany.
Cell, SELL. Poland and
Cell.
Finland.
Sir, there's one trick from my side also. Cell RG and PF.
Cell RG
and PF. RG, G and PF.
Okay,
So
you can sell RG, and what about PF? Who is PF?
so PF is Poland and
Poland and Finland.
Finland.
Finland. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so we'll go one by one. R stands for Russia.
Sir,
RU.
Yes.
RU stands for Russia.
Russia.
D stands for Denmark. E stands
D
for
stands
Estonia.
No. D is for Denmark.
D is
Yeah,
for
D for
Germany
Denmark. Germany for Germany.
S is Sweden.
S Sweden. E Estonia.
Yeah. L
Latvia, Lithuania
Lithuania, Poland and Finland.
and Finland. ठीक है, यहाँ से भी देख लेते हैं सेल आरजी एंड पीएफ. तो इसको भी आप लोग देख सकते हैं. ये थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्टिंग है. रूट जर्मनी, सेल, पोलैंड एंड फिनलैंड.
I think
Now,
cell RG and PF Denmark is not covered.
yeah.
D and ends D.
Okay. And is
It is A and D and.
okay.
Okay. Now, what
Sir, I
we are
have
going.
two add-ons.
Yes.
Sir, Baltic Sea drains into Danish Straits and it has three gulfs. Gulf of Bothnia, Gulf of Finland and Gulf of Riga. It's near Estonia. It's not written on the map, but it has.
Okay, Guneet, thank you. Anyone else? Is it visible or not?
Visible, sir, but not properly, sir.
Okay, so I'll dictate that. Okay, so I want to ask one question: that how many national parks are there in Jammu and Kashmir?
So
4.
5, sir.
5.
See,
3.
5 is wrong.
Sir, authentic site shows 5.
Sir,
Which
it's
is authentic?
Sir, Jammu
No, sir.
Kashmir.
Jammu and Kashmir
No, sir.
side shows
I mean
5.
to say that authentic site of Jammu and Kashmir
It
shows
includes Hemis National Park also, right? And Hemis National Park is in Leh.
Hemis is in Ladakh, sir.
Ladakh, yeah.
Yeah, it is in
they
Ladakh.
don't have
Okay,
updated yet.
so Hemis will not be included in Jammu and Kashmir now.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so there is a national park called Kazi Nag National Park. Now, I'm not sure whether it has been declared national park or not. If it is, then there are 4, and if it is not, then there are 3.
Yes, 3.
I could not find information on any website. Some websites were saying that it is declared actually national park, and some were saying that it is proposed national park. So I don't know what is the status. So if anyone has read from some government website or some authentic source, then please let me know.
Yes, sir, it is fourth national park in the Union Territory.
Where did you read it?
Sir,
Sir, yeah.
sir, it is a
अरे
site of
विकिपीडिया तो कह
No,
रहा है
sir.
कि it's false है.
Wikipedia is yes, sir. Yes, sir. Only
no,
proposed. Only
sir, in the site of biodiversity of government of Jammu Kashmir. So it shows that there are five national park. Hemis, except the Hemics, there are four: Dachigam, Salim Ali, Kachinag, and Kishtwar High Altitude National Park. So it is in the site. I can share the link in the chat box, sir.
Okay, so we'll start with Dachigam National Park. So there is river called Dagban River, Dagwan, Dagban River. It flows through it. It's an important thing, and it is Dachigam means 10 villages. Third thing is that we have just read about Jabraban Jabran range. So I want to ask about it also that there is something very famous garden. So which garden are they? Gardens are they?
Tulip Garden.
Tulip Garden, Rajiv Gandhi.
Asia Plaza.
Yeah, Tulip Garden. So this and I want to ask one more question that there are two very famous ranges in which it lies between those two ranges. So what are the name of those two mountain range?
Sir, one is Karakoram.
Ye
Another
Panjal
one
Great Panjal and Greater Himalayas.
and Great Himalayan.
Yes.
Yeah, Pir Panjal
Ye
and
Panjal.
Greater Himalaya. And so it is located in Jabravan range of Western Himalayas, and it is known for Hangul, and that is Kashmiri stag. So I
Sir,
want to ask, what is the status of Hangul?
Critically
endangered.
endangered.
Critically endangered.
Okay, and where can we find it apart from Jammu and Kashmir?
Himachal.
Sorry,
Himachal.
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 Yes, in
Chamor.
Himachal we can find. Yeah, in Himachal we can find it. And what is the status of musk deer? Yesterday also we did it.
Endangered.
Endangered it
Yes.
is.
So in which national park we can find it apart from this national park? And recently we have done those national park. We have read about those national park. That is why I'm asking. In northeastern part of India.
Kanchenjunga.
Anybody else?
Sir, Kanchenjunga.
याद रखना कल ही तो किया था हम लोगों ने इसको. And its altitude varies from 550 feet to 1400 feet, and apart from it there is nothing to discuss. So these were some important things about Dachigam National Park which we have discussed. So now if anyone has anything to add, you can add. Anybody, if you have anything to add in it?
Sir, Himalayan Sero is also found here.
Yes,
Recently,
Himalayans.
its status was changed from near threat level, so it was in news.
Anyways, can you please once again repeat?
Sir, recently its status was changed from near threatened to vulnerable.
Himalayan Sero is also found in the Chigam National Park, and its status has been changed from near threatened to vulnerable. Remember this thing. Okay, now we'll talk about Kishtwar National Park. So I want to ask something about it. Okay, so there is very important fact about it, that there is a river called Renai River, and it is located in the north of this national park. And there is a Nala called Kivar Nala. It is located in south, and in east in eastern part of this national park, there is a divide of Great Himalayas, and the western part, and there is a Marwa River. So remember this thing, okay? And we can find brown bear, Himalayan snowcock, all these things we can find in Kishtwar National Park. So it is not that much important. Whatever important things were there, we have discussed them. So now, if anyone has to add anything, please go ahead.
Sir,
Yeah, all these rivers you talked about, they are part of Chenab river system.
Yes, this Kibar Nala, Marwa River, and Renai River, they are part of Chenab River system. Tributary, tributary or distributary?
Actually, this Kibar and they form fall in Marwar, and the Marwar form distributary.
Marwa is distributary or tributary?
Not tributaries are actually it is very small type of thing. So let me confirm it, but that forms a part of Chenab, that is confirmed.
Okay, it is a part of Chenab River system.
So you're mute.
Oh, sorry. Okay, it is known as City Forest National Park, and we can find Hangul, musk deer, Himalayan black bear, leopard, Himalayan sero, paradise flycatcher. All these things we can find in this national park, and mangrove also we can find in this national park. So, if anyone has anything to add, please go ahead.
when we were discussing about the national park of Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, we discussed about snow leopard. So in this area, like in Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh region, it is found, and
In
they are.
Himas National Park, it is found.
Ji, sir. So definitely, sir. Regarding snow leopard, there are various initiatives which are started, like Secure Himalayas, which was funded by UNDP. So they were targeted to maintain or conserve the high altitude biodiversity. So also focused on snow leopard, and there is also Project Snow Leopard, which is started by the 5 basic Himalayan states: Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh. So there is a back, background behind that. And sir, regarding Himalayan brown bear, they are critically endangered. That's what I want to add, sir.
Okay, thank you, Asutosh. Now we can see location also, that they are in almost in same line, the Chigam and Kishtwar National Park, and the Salim Ali is slightly east westward. So you can see the location. It's like we can make a K here. This is the location of these three national park, and we are not doing those Hemis National Park and Kazirang because I need to confirm out Kazirang, and thereafter we'll discuss that national park also. Hemis is in Ladakh. Remember this thing. Now we'll talk about WHO. So it is basically internet specialized agency of United Nations, and I want to ask one question, and who will answer? Ishan, can you tell me that when do we celebrate World Health Day, and why do we celebrate it?
Hello, sir. 7th April.
Okay, and what is the reason of celebration?
Sir, WHO was established on the same day, on 7th of April.
Okay. It was established in 1948 on April 7th, and it is therefore we celebrate it World Health Day. On the same day, WHO released its constitution also, and these are some things which WHO does. Now, I want to ask one question. Jyoti, can you please tell me that where we can find WHO headquarter?
Sir, I think it's in Switzerland, Geneva.
Yes, it is in Geneva. Muskan, can you please tell me something about related to funding of WHO? How does it get funding?
So funding, how they get the funds?
Yes,
Hello?
yes,
Yes.
yes,
So they get from the countries, those are parts,
yes.
the
They get
countries
funding
who are the
from the
members.
member state and from other sources also. And I have mentioned these some question that what does it do? So you can go through that its role is to direct and coordinate international health within the United Nations system. Where does it work? How does it govern? So there's a World Health Assembly, which is main governing body of WHO, and it is this assembly is attended by all the delegation and by the all the members of member state, and they determine policies and organization. So these are the some things were important about it. Now, if anyone has to add anything about WHO, then you are go ahead.
So apart from its headquarters in Switzerland, it has six semi-autonomous regional headquarters, and the regional office which they have for Southeast Asia is located in New Delhi.
Okay, apart from it.
And it started a world immunization program for 6 communicable diseases, one for diphtheria, measles, polio, tetanus, TB, and whooping cough.
Okay.
So before World War II, there were different international organizations which were governing, which were making policies regarding health. But after World War II, United Nations decided to make a World Health Organization. And regarding the funding, some are made by the countries and rest are voluntary. The highest paying one is by Greece or Germany. I think it's by Greece. That is something 12% of GDP. And the second highest people who contribute is Bill Gates and Bill Gates company.
Melinda Gates.
Yeah.
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yes.
Yes.
Anuj, can you please repeat the six communicable diseases for which immunization has been done right?
Yeah, it's diphtheria, measles, polio, tetanus, TB, and whooping cough.
Thank you.
And sir, WHO with the association with India, it eliminated polio. The last polio case were found in the year 2014, but recently in the Dharavi of Mumbai, we found that type 2 stranding virus of polio.
Okay, so I want to ask one question that there is a program related to eliminating TB also. So what is the name of
And
that program? And second question is that by what is the timeline to end TB in India?
so the program,
2025, sir.
so the program
Yes.
is Nikshay,
Okay.
and the timeline
Timeline is
has
2025, sir.
yeah.
WHO eliminated by the end of 2030, and for India
But
it
we
is
waited 5 years before
2025.
it. And
Okay.
And there is a one portal also, Nikshay Poshan Abhiyan, for the tuberculosis patient, in which they get rupees 500 per month for their medication and other food facilities.
Okay. Now anyone has to add anything about WHO? Otherwise, we'll discuss Singapore Convention.
So, Global Alliance for Vaccine Initiative, Gavi, a partnership between among various public and private organizations. So it was backed by WHO. So WHO was one of the member of Gavi.
Okay.
So WHO's flagship publication is World Health Report.
World Health Report, yes. Anything else?
And so Dr. Harshvardhan Singh is, it was in news that it is a part of WHO executive board. So our union health minister is like a chairman of, set to take charge of chairman of WHO executive board in 147th, I think, sessions.
Okay. Anything else?
So basically, there are two bodies. One is W Wealth Health Assembly, and another one is
Executive
WHO
body.
board. Yes, sir.
So India has like world's one fourth yeah, TB burden. That's the other TB almost.
Hmm. Okay. Now we'll discuss about.
Let's say
Sir,
Singa-
quarter.
sir,
Yes.
Yes. Anuj, go ahead.
sir, when you explaining about this, the WHO, how it governs, so there was an element, I don't know, maybe I've forgotten, that it recommends all the financial needs first to the United Nations Economic and Social Council.
Okay.
And then if it is accepted, then all member countries would prepare a plan in order to eliminate or mitigate that impacts of that disease according and the specific need of that member country. So that's it.
Okay. Okay. So now my first question regarding Singapore Treaty is that how
So
many?
Nikshay,
Yes, Suraj.
so sorry to disturb you. What's the year to eliminate proposed elimination of TB under Nikshay Abhiyan?
Somebody was saying 2025, but I think it's 2024 or 2025. Somebody said 2025.
Sir,
I
earlier
also remember
it
it
was
2025 only.
sir, 2025, sir.
earlier
Okay.
it was
Sir,
2027, but then it changes to 2025.
अभी एक कैंपेन आई है वो शायद it talk that campaign says that we'll eliminate TB by 2024. अभी I don't remember exactly, but there's a campaign also related to elimination of TB. So just Google it once. Okay. But in according to that Nischay, what did you say? It is 2025. So by 2025, India aims to eliminate TB from India. And now we'll move to Singapore Treaty. So my first question is regarding Singapore Treaty is that how many members have signed this treaty? And it will be answered by Preeti Yadav. Preeti, are you there? Lakshmi, Suba Lakshmi, are you there? Simran, Simran, can you hear me? Swati, can you please answer that? How many countries have signed
Sir,
Singapore
53
Treaty?
signatory.
Yeah, 53
53.
countries. And did India sign it or not?
Yes, sir, including India.
Yes, India have also signed it. And how it is going to help India, this treaty?
Sir, if by enforcing settlement in corporate disputes involving businesses, India and other countries, something like that.
Yes, it will improve. It will help. It will
Resolve the
improve
dispute.
India's ease of business, ease of doing
Ease
business
of doing
index
business,
also.
yes, sir.
Yes, and whether this treaty has come into the force or not, and this will be answered by mm, mm, Ravi Jha.
Sir, I don't know.
Okay. Dharini, can you please tell me that whether this treaty has come into force or not?
Yes, sir, it is in force.
Okay. When did it come into force?
Sir, in 2020.
Okay, in September 2020. I think
Yes.
it was 12 of September. So this is most of the things about it. And actually, what it will do, that earlier what used to happen, that there used to there used to have multinational, say for example, in India, there are many multinational companies. So if they are going into any contract and there is any dispute, then they had to go through actually Indian laws. Okay, and there were several other complexities also. Now what they can do, they can go, say for example, they can go for mediation, and if there is reward by mediation, then Indian, those countries who have actually signed this treaty, they will follow the process which is being followed, follow the process of mediation only. I mean, those rules and regulation formed by this mediation, they will follow this thing. So it will actually help them to settle dispute in a fast manner. And second thing, how it's going to help, that uh, I mean, there will not be multiple legal things and all. So this is the importance of this treaty, and second thing, it is the first UN treaty named after Singapore, and we have already discussed that it came into force on 12 of September 2020, and first it has been ratified by Singapore, second Fiji, and third instrument of ratification came by Qatar. So this is all about this treaty. Now, if anyone has to add anything, then please go ahead.
So recently, India lost a case with a telecom company, which is international. Which was a multi-international company.
Karen,
So this kind of sorry,
CERN.
is it Karen? I think.
I don't remember the name.
Yes, yes,
So
like that.
Vodafone,
basically,
I
it will help India
Vodafone and
Not
Karen
make
company, sir.
Yes, sir.
help India.
Vodafone and Karen.
yeah,
Vodafone and
Vodafone
Karen
and
both.
Siren.
Yeah, so it will help India also to make rules and regulations according to
In
the
accordance to,
international, to
yes,
the international standards.
So yes, sir. And another one case in like whether we have decided with Japan that we will develop the port of Sri Lanka. So after some time they cancelled that. So there is a practice that we can use a alternative dispute resolution. So definitely, which you have mentioned, that it will definitely ease ease of doing business, and also will give a positive signal to the foreign investors, sir. And also known as sir UNISA, which you have mentioned in above, that United
yes.
Nations Convention of International Settlement Agreement, sir.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sir, sir, if a member country is a part of Singapore Convention, then do he go for ADR and uh, BIT, that is bilateral investment treaty?
Do they go for BIT or?
ADR, that is alternative disputes resolution.
See how I couldn't understand that how you are connecting bilateral investment treaty and this thing. ADR
Sir,
obviously for alternative dispute resolution, you can go through this convention. That will be regulated by Singapore Convention on Mediation. Okay, because in ADR, mediation is also one part. So that is okay. But this BIT, how you are going connecting, I couldn't understand this thing.
Sir, Ethan
Sir,
is
I
talking
think
about the India-Sri Lanka relation, which now recently there is a case of like development of ports.
Okay,
So,
so his question is
The
that whether,
jurisdiction.
yeah, whether agreements under the BIT can be challenged uh, through this convention or not. Is this your question?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, obviously you can challenge.
sir, but there is
sir,
one
but if
condition
yeah, if
that
two
Yes.
countries are already into a bilateral agreement, then like why would they,
Yeah, so
refer to
the
a
thing is that
international
if they are,
basis?
see, what happens in mediation that you get the help of third party, okay? That third party will come into the play and then they'll try to mediate. So if in that agreement, because there are multiple kinds of agreements, so if in that agreement they mention that in future if there is any dispute, then it will be settled through this convention and all, then they can go. So it depends on the actually what kind of agreement they are making. Did you understand this thing? So it's a very subjective thing and case to case basis it will differ. Even if it is a bilateral investment treaty also, but if they need help of third party to resolve their disputes, say for example if there is a deadlock, and then they need third party, and for that they can put some clause in their agreement or in treaty.
So ये binding है ना?
if it is
It is
mentioned,
binding.
if it is mentioned in
Yeah.
treaties, then it is binding.
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll talk about last things,
Hello,
that
sir.
is, yes, Subhangi.
Sir, I have to add something.
Yes, go
It
ahead.
is in relation with Sustainable Development Goal number 16. So it is because Sustainable Goal number 16 talks about peace, justice, and strong institution. So it is related to that. Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Sir, so I'm just adding that thing.
Okay, so Sustainable Development Goal 16 talks about peace, justice, and strong institution.
So
Remember
yes,
this thing.
and this convention talks about contributing to sustainable certainty and stability. So it's we must remember this.
Okay. Okay, so this historical term is Charana, and it is a school of Vedic study. And I want to ask someone, can you please tell me what what does this term Gahapati means? Dolly Pathak, Gahapati.
Sir, no idea. I'm not able to see also what is written.
Avinash?
So it is a small landowner or a property owner.
Yes, it's a householder and a wealthy property owner. Okay, and Hundika?
It's a bill of exchange.
Yeah, this year UPSC has asked this
Last year.
question.
Yes.
I mean, in 2020 they have asked this question. In 2020, yes, in 2020 they have asked.
This year.
This year only. And what about Jatakas?
Even
the stories.
uh,
Folklore.
Yes, Satish,
Past
go ahead.
birth of
Buddhist folk tales.
Okay, and what is hominid? This one, Dattatreya.
Yes, sir.
What
Hello.
does this term mean? Yes, yes, go ahead.
Which one, sir?
This one, hominid.
Sir, it's similar to of human species.
Yes, a species similar to human species. And so we are done for the day. And tomorrow we'll meet at 9 p.m. Yes.
Hominid.
Tomorrow we'll meet at 9 p.m.